Good afternoon, gentlemen. We are here in regards to the murders of Alessandro Berardelli and Frederick A. Paramenter and the theft of over $15,000 from the Slater Moral Shoe Company on April 15, 1920. The accused are Nicola Sacco and Bartholomew Vanzetti, who have both made pleas of innocence. The defendant may approach the stand. Mr. Vanzetti?
I choose not to represent myself.
So be it. Will Mr. Sacco approach the stand?
Yes, sir.
The prosecutor may begin questioning.
Thank you. Mr. Sacco, it has been said that you were involved with Luigi Galliani, who is a known Italian anarchist. Is this true?
Yes, this is true.
Is it also true that Luigi Galliani was involved in violence such as bombing and assassination?
Yes, this is also true.
Mr. Sacco, where were you the night of April 15th when the Dedham, Massachusetts murders took place?
I was in Boston in order to gain a passport from the Italian consul, and I was having dinner with friends.
But it seems that the consulate clerk in Boston that you claim to have visited does not remember you. Also, the friends that you had dinner with that night are fellow anarchists, are they not?
Yes, sir, they are. The consulate clerk sees several hundred people a day. He is likely not to remember me.
Mr. Sacco, there are also multiple witnesses claiming to have seen you around the time and place of the crime. Also, at the scene of the crime, we found multiple bullets and a hat that witnesses say resemble one that you wore. After testing the bullets, one bullet was proved to have been shot from your Colt automatic. Do you deny this evidence?
Yes, I don't have a hat that looked even anything close to that, and the bullet was not shot from my gun. And the witnesses stated that they could not perfectly put me out as a witness.
Well, to prove that this hat is not yours, would you mind trying it on?
Sure.
The hat definitely fits.
It does not.
At the time of your arrest, you had just left Johnson's auto repair shop without picking up the car you came for. The wife of Johnson had called the police while you were in the shop. This seems somewhat suspicious. What was your reason for leaving?
The car did not have a 1920s license plate, so we couldn't take it without them.
Well, when you were arrested, you denied your anarchist beliefs. Why?
Because we're in the gripe of a period where people with beliefs such as mine are persecuted easily. I was scared.
I see. I have no more questions.
We will take a brief break. The court will proceed. Mr. Katzman, the floor is yours.
I'd like to call Mr. Faulkner to the stand, Your Honor. Mr. Faulkner, what evidence do you bring to this trial against Mr. Vanzetti?
On the night of April 15th, I saw Mr. Vanzetti get off a train on East Braintree Station around 10 p.m.
Was this the only time of the night you saw Mr. Vanzetti?
No, later that night around 12 a.m., when heard gunshots fire, I saw Mr. Vanzetti driving away from the scene.
The people also have a 38 caliber Harrington and Richardson revolver that was found on Mr. Vanzetti at the time of the arrest. This revolver is the same model that Mr. Berardelli, a guard, possessed during the time of the shooting. Berardelli's gun had a repaired hammer, as did the gun that police found on Mr. Vanzetti.
Thank you, Mr. Katzman. Your witness may be excused. Defendant, you may now state your case.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Vanzetti states that he was in Plymouth selling fish at the time of the crime. Although Mr. Faulkner claims to have seen Mr. Vanzetti at the station, there have been witnesses saying that he was in Plymouth selling fish. I would also like to point out that there was no witnesses claiming to have seen Mr. Vanzetti participate in the actual shooting. Vanzetti testified that he bought the gun from a friend a few months before his arrest. He bought it because he received cash from his fish peddling business and was concerned about recent holdups. Balzini also testified that he sold the gun to Vanzetti.
Thank you, defendant. You may each now state your final cases. Prosecutor, you may have the floor.
Anarchism is a crime in and of itself. If we continue to let these anarchists and murderers get away with these crimes, our country will continue to suffer even more than before. These men, Mr. Sacco and Mr. Vanzetti, are known anarchists and have huge relations with others who have committed violent crimes and are known for bombing and assassinations. We have enough evidence to prove them guilty, and we should do so. Stand together, you men of Norfolk.
All evidence that has been given in the cases against Mr. Sacco and Mr. Vanzetti have been proven to be incorrect or insignificant through alibis, or testing of the evidence. Political beliefs of these men are their choices and should not be taken into the final decision of their fates.
Jury, you have all the evidence and cases have been made. We will meet again when you have reached your verdict. Due to the substantial amount of evidence that we have obtained, we have come to the conclusion in the case of the people of Mr. Sacco and Mr. Vanzetti, we find the accused guilty in all the murders of Alessandro Belladere and Frederick A. Parmenter and the theft of over $15,000. Very well. Mr. Sacco and Mr. Vanzetti are therefore sentenced to death by electrocution.